What's going on, Nolan?
Just taking all this advice that I can. It's a lot of information, so I'm trying to take
Yeah,
it
you,
step
you
by
got to
step.
smile a little bit. You sound like kind of somber.
Yeah, I was just reading a pretty upsetting text. Caught me off guard, but
Oh,
anyway,
everything okay?
I would yeah, it'll be all right. But I was kind of curious your perspective on like schooling, especially going into real estate and I guess wholesaling. Because I know Zach went to college and everything, so I was kind of curious how you kind of see that.
You're talking about college?
Yeah.
So are you at like the crossroads
I'm
or?
currently a freshman in college and not really seeing the value fully. But then I have a lot of people who are in very high positions, I guess, saying that they do see the value, and then I also have other people saying they
So
don't.
so let me. Are you paying for college on your own?
Let's just say no.
Okay, so like either you paying for your own or your parents usually pay for it. Those are usually our options,
Yeah,
right?
it's not coming out of my pocket. Let's say that.
So here's the reality, okay? Because I went through this as a parent, so like I'm an expert on it. I come from a schooling background. So my wife used to be a teacher. She's got her master's, and so education's always been like a really big thing in our family. Like my father think education is the most important thing. I'm here. It didn't help me, dude. It didn't help me back in the '90s. And if you're gonna do, in my opinion, this is my opinion, if you're gonna do any type of business, I'm here to tell you, college is so far behind on what's going on in the real world. It's almost a joke. The reality of most business taught in college is taught like, here's how Coca-Cola does stuff. Here's how Pepsi does stuff. Here's how IBM does stuff. And they're huge, giant corporations. The world's changed. The world is mostly made up of small, independent companies, just like myself. That's the reality of it. So you have to learn how to do everything. We have a global market right now. There's like, I don't rely on everybody in the United States to get everything done. So the problem is, if you drop out of school, you're most likely going to disappoint people in your family. It's the truth. Like, let's just deal with it. So if someone's paying for it and it's not taxing you, you got to start looking past college, because look at college as an extension of just your regular K through 12. That's all it is. It's not going to give you any type of competitive advantage. College is there to train you so you'll become a great employee. Why? So you'll contribute to the government payroll tax so they can get their cut with you. That's it. And that's why, here's the problem is, say you make 150 grand in a couple years. Well, then you're going to get a W-2. Guess what? You're going to get walloped with. You're like the government's walking billboard. You're their favorite person because they're always going to be in your back pocket. So individual business owners, they learn how to buy assets and offset their taxes and take advantage of every loophole you can. As an employee, there is no loophole. There's nothing. 401k is about your only loophole. So you got one or two choices. Just blaze through school and get it done and just get it over as fast as you can and start doing something on the side, preferably wholesaling if that's what you do, or get the hell out of it. Like if I had to take your position, if I had 4 years and say you just started saving, you got another 3 years, you would make a hell of a lot more money, like working directly with a company, even doing like an internship or something like. It's just the truth.
Yeah.
But all our parents are brainwashed about how schooling works, and I was the first generation to kind of break that cycle. Now, college back in the day used to be the thing that divided you. Like honestly, anybody in my company, I actually prefer you don't have a college degree, because it's like what am I going to do with it? Like the only thing. So I went for finance. Zach went for finance and accounting, and I was able to learn spreadsheets. But the honest with you, I probably could have taken an online course in 4 weeks and saved my. And I spent 6 years at college. That's terrible. I went for all the wrong reasons. So anyone who tells you that college is the greatest time, is the best time in your life, they did it wrong. So if you take advice from them, then that's it. Do you really want to peak at like 20, 21 years old?
Yeah.
You don't know shit. Like I was like, sorry about the language. It's like you can make millions and millions of dollars. It's not even that hard, but you're never ever going to do it. For the most part, the percentage of people making $1 million plus that went to college, it's like the caliber of it is like the amount of people that make it to the NBA or like the NFL. So here's the reality is, you have to make a decision. I believe my son. So I told my son this because I said, listen, I'm changing it. Even though I can afford to send you to college, I told him I'm not paying for it. You're just going to have to make a decision. My wife looked at me like, what are you, nuts? I go, this is going to teach a valuable lesson. So if he wants to go, like, he's responsible for it. So he went and got scholarships and did everything. And he got if you guys can get your AA degree while you're in high school, a lot of the government programs already pay for it. So he had a 2-year head start. So I was like, go through 2 years, no big deal. He went away for like a couple semesters and he came back. He's like, college isn't for me. Like they're bumbling idiots there.
Yeah,
they're running up their
that's
parents'
what I
credit
found.
cards. They're drinking. And I don't want to do any of that stuff. I just want to grow a business. I know the sooner I start growing the business, the better off it's going to be. So you're going to have to make the decision between pleasing your parents but like understanding, here's the reality. When you graduate from college, most parents go like this. Okay, you're on your own, Nolan, figure it out. And then all the crap, that's when all your mistakes happen in life. So the sooner you can understand how the real business world works, and that's you want to do it, the better off you are. Unless you're going to go for engineering, medical, or legal, you were forced to go through our college system, but like business wise. Now here's a compromise, guys. Think about this. Do you know people have no idea if you got your degree online or you went to the university in person for it? They have no idea. And to me, that is a great compromise. My son finished his last year at University of Florida online. So he's got his full diploma on there. Does it say he took it online? No. And guess what? You don't have to pay the ridiculous housing cost, all the other stuff. And then it's a higher use of your time. And then he could go out and wholesale. He was meeting with sellers while he was taking his college course, and it was extremely manageable. So you got a couple options here. Grin and bear it, just get it over with as fast as you can, rip the Band-Aid off. But understanding a lot of 4 years college will make you dumber than when you started, because you think this job's just going to save you. Like I'm watching my son's friends come out of college. They're all going to get sales jobs, and they're like, it's brutal out there. I'm like, really? They're like, Zach, how'd you do it? He goes, I bit the bullet. I took my 4 or 5 years training, and that's it. So you're going to bite your teeth on it some way or the other. Because I always tell kids, when you go out and get your first sales job, don't even worry what it is. Just get it, because you got to get the experience. Same thing with wholesaling. You have to get the experience. So the first one is you rip through it. Number two, you vacate it completely, but you know the downside of that with your parents. But keep in mind, when you're done with college, like your parents are usually done with you. Like there's this crazy gap in America, whereas my son goes to Stanford, and then when you graduate, you're just like, okay, son, where are you moving to now? Like they want to get rid of you like the dog they're taking out to the pasture. It's just like parenting doesn't stop when you turn 22, 23. But I'm not going to sit down and let my kids live in my basement forever. They're going to learn. Like I never gave my son a car. Like I didn't give him it. Like I'm telling you guys can sit there and provide for your kids, and like you're just setting up future disappointment for them when they got to figure out how the real life works. So number two is get the heck all the way out of it. Or number three might be a compromise where you do some online stuff and you get better management of your time and start understanding you're going to get a very, very small education in college for business. I'm sorry. Do you think they're prepared to deal with AI that's coming out? Not even close.
It's pretty outdated. No, I mean, the thing that has me mixed the most is like today I met with this guy, their mutual friend. He has like $3 billion worth of like affordable housing apartments. And I asked him this as well. And he was like, he pretty sternly, he was like, I think you'd be going against the grain if you didn't. He was even saying like for getting commercial loans, like, for getting commercial loans, like even like some of the banks will kind of look at your education. I was really surprised when he said that.
Listen, the education thing is a check on the box. So if you know that, number one, please God, don't anyone ever sign these stupid student loans. They are set up to manipulate the crap out of you. Like people at 17, 18 signing loans to pay for the rest of their lives, you're not going to get a return on it. So stop signing it. You can go to community colleges, you can do online, you can get through it. So if you guys have time and I have someone catching them young, get your AA while you're in high school. It's paid for. You have to maintain the grades, but most college is a bragging on your parents. And I just stopped with my kids. Like I'm proud of them, but like college does not define you. The most help you need is when you got out of college. The biggest risk I had when I was young was from when I graduated college, that 4 or 5 years trying to figure out, it was hell. And if I did it earlier, I would have learned so much more and wouldn't have been such a better business person. But I had to learn the hard way on a lot of the stuff. So the reality is you have to get it. You got to find what area you want to be. So if you want to be in real estate, specifically in wholesaling, there is no college. The college is freewholesaling.com. But the reality is you just work through it. And it's like a course that never stops. That's the reality of business. Business isn't where you go to school 4 years and you just pop in and you're product employee. And what's the first thing people look for when they're going to get a job out of college? What's the number one priority for people?
For like employers?
No, when you go out and you shop around jobs, what's the one thing? Like, I get it. You want the nice place. It's money. Yeah. And you all get sucked into it. Someone goes, well, we're going to give you a base salary of $80,000 if you hit your targets and all that. Most of you are going to wind up in sales jobs. And that $80K, they're going to fire you in 3 to 6 months if you don't hit your numbers. They're not going to play with you. Yeah. And you go, well, I'm getting $80K for the rest of your... No, you're not. You're going to get 90 days. So break $80K down and break it up over a 12-month period. And if you do not perform and help their company make money, they're going to fire you and they're just going to keep the revolving door going on. Yeah. And that's the reality of where we're at. So what you want to prevent, here's the biggest problem with people in college, is the day you graduate, so fun, the pomp and circumstance, people are clueless, man. They have no idea what they're about to encounter in the real world. That's the challenge. I did not discover wholesaling until I was 33 because I did the college thing. I did the pump. I gave 12 years to a company. Dude, it was a nightmare. So that whole thing, I wasted 16 16 years of my life. I can help you make one adjustment, but remember, it's got to come from you. You're going to get, at the end of it, guys, the reality is when you graduate college, your parents are kind of done, like they love you, but they don't even know what to do with you. So you have to start taking ownership and accountability. Life isn't about your parents providing for you forever. You need to find a way to get on your own. I come from the old school. We take care of ourselves first, and we take care of our family, and we do things to make society much more productive. So I know I'm giving you a lot on it, but you're going to have to choose one of the choices. The path of least resistance is finish college and then jump off that cliff 4 years later. You're going to be in the same spot, low. I'm just telling you.
Yeah. Okay.
So you can do a combo of both, but like, guys, stop worrying about these degrees. If you get it online at Stanford or University of Florida, University of South Florida, it is not on your diplomas. So why do you guys pay these huge premiums for this? I do like schooling. It helps you think and stuff like that. But honestly, as fast as you can get through it, it's going to have zero benefit to you in wholesaling or real estate, in my opinion. Why? Because I did it. It didn't help me out at all. I smoked 16 years. So if I can save someone from it, the reality is I needed the most help the day I graduated college, which means the day I went into college, I needed the most help then. Everybody thinks college solves your problem. I'm just telling you, it usually just creates more problems. So I get it. Like when you go away, the social skills, but like, are you really learning anything if your parents are paying for everything when you go away from school? You're not on your own. Really? Oh, okay. Yeah, you know what the reality is? The parents get a vacation. Like it's just I'm just telling you the way it is, man. I'm tired of people saying college is the best 4 years of your life. Boy, if that's it, man, like you and me are not going to get along. Yeah, it's ridiculous. Every year gets better in my life, and it's going to do to the day I die. That's it. So you're going to have to do some soul searching, make a decision, but understanding if you get pushback from your parents, what do you like? I'm going to ask something. What do your parents do for a living?
Dad works at corporate America, which is why I don't ever want to do it my entire life. I mean, there's no job that like I want that would require a degree. It's just a matter of, is it going to help accelerate my life in terms of just any aspect of whether it be the degree, the education, or like the network, really.
Yeah, the reality is once you start working for someone, it's like a drug, dude. It's hard to get off. So the great thing I was able to do with my son Zach is he only worked at like the local grocery store, and that was enough to drive him crazy. That's
exactly what happened to me.
And he's just like, store. Man, I go, oh, it gets 10 times worse the higher you get up the ladder. It's like you're always going to have a boss. But it's no picnic being an entrepreneur. Sometimes it's a pain in the butt. It's a. But how old are you?
19.
Yeah, it's like I'm telling you, being a W-2 employee, I don't know how anybody survives. Like,
I don't either.
So if you earn $100,000, by the time they take out your FICA, your Social Security, your Medicare, and whatever withholdings you have, guys, it's like if you don't understand how tax brackets work, the more you make, the more they take out of your check. And so if you have no assets to offset it, say you make $150,000 a year, so taxes are progressive. I'm not here to explain how taxes work, but you'll learn, because once the government starts taking your money, you will learn quick. Is anywhere from 10% on the lowest bracket to up to 35%. And once you get over $200,000, you are a dead man walking if you do not figure out how investments work, because the government will basically be your 35% partner. It's expensive. So understanding if someone make $1 million in salary, the government's going to take $350,000 right off the bat. That's why you talk about all these people like no tax. No college in the world is going to teach any of this crap. It's ridiculous. It's like there's so like marketing. I took marketing in college. I thought it was like, because I was always fascinated in marketing. All they did is taught me how to run a marketing department at a large corporation, which is useless for stuff I do with you guys here. So 70% of our business world are small business entrepreneurs, like business owners like us, and there is zero catering to you. Do you know at University of Florida they actually have an entrepreneurial like division in their school? And I kind of laughed, but it was decent. They're trying, but the problem is everything in a institution is usually 10 to 15 years behind of what's going on in the current business world. So make a decision. Don't take it lightly, but remember, when you're done with college, you're pretty much on your own. If you don't accept that fact, it is the truth. And anything you can do between now and that day to prepare you for it will get you way ahead of the game. While all your buddies are out drinking, having a good time doing this, these are the sacrifices like my son make, that people on this channel that make, to understand if I can do some short-term sacrifice, my life's going to be amazing. As opposed to all your other friends are going to go through and they're going to be living in their parents' basements forever. Don't be that kid. I'm telling you guys, there's so much opportunity. And even outside of wholesaling, I love wholesaling, but I know there's other gigs out there. There's plenty. So you know how I feel about it. Sit down with your parents and have a talk.
Yeah, I did last night.
But here's what your parents do is they always want to protect you, and they do it out of love. But sometimes you have to make some big boy decisions like what's best for your future. And here's the reality is, this is the painful part. Getting a college education is the safe play. It's safe. You are not ever going to get rich for it. And the reality is, good entrepreneurs, when you learn how to get people to pay attention to you and you learn how to solve problems and help people out, guess what? The money comes to you. And then what do? You find people that'll be good little soldiers that went to school. Just let them do the stuff for you. That's the truth. I am like, do you know what I got on my SAT? It's so embarrassing. Like, I think I got less than an 800 total. But I run millions of dollars in business, and I have plenty of people with masters and regular degrees that work for me.
Yeah.
But do you want to value a college education? Go for it. People celebrate a graduation from college like it's the greatest party in their life, and the reality is it's fake. It's hollow. It's like I don't think they should celebrate graduate. It's like it's out of control. Other than a high school graduation, that's it. Oh, you accomplished the world. I'm so proud of you. You haven't accomplished anything yet.
Yeah.
You took a class and you had to pay for it. That's your accomplishment. You just spent $100,000 on your education. So do not go into debt. And then if you can get, if you decide to stick to school to make your parents happy and just check it off the list, just get through it as fast as possible and start working on your other ventures on the side. So Zach was a little bit easier because he only had to bridge 2 years, and I think he did it in a year and a half. So it wasn't a big deal. Does that make sense?
Yeah. What was Zach's reasoning for at least getting the degree?
I honestly, it was his choice, and that was part of. So all the parents out there, so you guys can understand, part of your job is from the day your child's born till the day they become an independent adult is to get them more independent each day, because that's how it works in nature. There is no other animal in the world that takes care of their young forever, outside of disabilities or anything crazy. So the more independent your child comes, the better off you are. So I started my kids at like 13, 14, and like, okay, here's what we're going to do. You need to get a job. You need to do this. And then when both my kids went to school, they had to handle their entire budget. They had to pay their tuition. They had to do everything. They had to work their scholarship money. And then like I go, hey, guess what? You graduate college. Guess what? You get to pay your car insurance now. And now they're dealing with their health insurance. It's so funny. You sit down and you have these conversations with them like, man, this health insurance thing, that's crazy. I'm like, I know. And so that's what you do. You move along, because we're in an age where like kids are living in their parents' basements till they're in their 40s and 50s. It's like society's going to break down if we keep this up. We have to be independent. We have to help each other. And the more independent your child is down the road, the better it is for you, because as parents, you can spend quality time with them. If you're constantly sending your kid money in their like 20s and 30s, you got to relook at it. And so if it didn't work, I don't know. It just only take advice from people financially that you want to be where they want to be.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, the reality is your parents are usually not the best. It doesn't mean they weren't good stewards with money.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of people that are very good stewards of money. They just don't know how to make a ton of money.
Yeah. That's how my parents are.
Correct. So I learned how to make a ton of money, but I wasn't a good steward of money, and I had to learn that the hard way too. So, figure out your balance. I get it. It can be like a respect thing, but I left the choice up to my kid. But we had disagreements in our family on it. So it's like, just get through it. And so my daughter's going through getting her master's now, but like I use the same philosophy I do with her now. Scholarships, online. Ridiculous. Housing is probably your biggest expense when you go away to college.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
So nip it in the bud, right?
Yeah.
So just sit down and talk to your parents. The more honest you are, the better off you are. But like, it's going to go by quick. Just please don't wait till the day you're done with college. You have that great ceremony and you're like, I remember that feeling I had done college. I go, what am I going to do now? And I thought corporate America was going to solve all my problems. And I thought making 30 grand was the greatest thing in life until I got my first paycheck. I'm like, holy crap, how am I going to live? Fast forward to today, it's a whole different world out there. And I want you guys to understand that. So you got it. See, at least you're having the discussion. Everybody else is freaking robots. I'm going to go to school. I'm going to get a good job. I'm going to pay my taxes. And like, don't find out like me, like 12 years later, it's miserable.
No, I found out from my dad.
Yeah, it's like this is going to be painful, but sometimes look around your parents and go, well, listen, I love you guys, but I don't want to be like you guys, you know? And that's okay. Remember, we pick our friends, our family are chosen, and we just love them for who they are. And so most of us don't get the best financial advice from our parents. And so it's all we know, it's all we trust. So questioning them doesn't mean you're a bad kid. It just means like, I need to understand how this is kind of going.
Yeah.
And your parents are like, well, we need to make you money so you get out of the house. And I think college is the quickest fix to it. Yeah. You'll make money. I don't know if so the reality is, are you going to make enough money to be able to live out of the house? Probably not. Because I got to tell you, where do you live?
I live with my parents still when I'm not at school.
Yeah. So you know what it costs to live on your own. So what's an average apartment in your area per month, you think?
Let's just say 1,500.
Yeah. So
about that.
So you need like 50 grand just hard cash to pay your rent, your groceries, utilities, and everything. And remember, that's pre-tax dollars. So you start doing the math. The reality is everybody wants to make 50, 100 grand right off the bat and have this secure salary. As opposed to you can do wholesaling, you can make 5, 10 here and there. You're not going to make it right off the bat, but usually in 1 year, you're going to make more in wholesale. It's just people rather trade their dreams and take that $80,000 salary than take a risk with wholesaling. Heck, it might take you 2 or 3 years ago. It doesn't matter. So, but that's it, man. Just stay strong. And remember, at the end of the day, when you graduate college, you are on your own. I don't care what anyone says. And your parents are going to be all over you like, what are you going to do? Are you going to get a job? You're going to get a job today? You're going to get a job, and then you're going to wind up most likely going out and getting a sales job because you need something to be able to pay your rent and pay your grocery bills, and you can't do that without some sort of salary. So salaries are the kiss of death to me. I only have a few employees on salary, but like everybody contributes. If you don't contribute, get the hell out of my way because I don't care. Like it's ridiculous. So, okay, man, you got some decisions to make. Let me know how it works out.
Yeah, I appreciate the help. I did have one question about wholesaling super quick, and that's about like finding markets, I guess. How often are you switching markets?
Switching markets is I only switch markets when it doesn't work.
Okay.
So I always do my local market, which I suggest to everyone. And then also, if you want to pick a virtual market, it takes about 3 months to get it profitable. So you can't keep switching. Sometimes you just got to pull the rip card. That's the beauty of a virtual market, because if you're not getting leads and stuff coming on whatever marketing method, you just got to move. So you're just moving with the click of your mouse. But if you keep moving, you'll go broke.
Got it.
So you got to look at the data, and I like to just reverse engineer other wholesalers off their cash buying deals, and they brag so much I don't even have to spend a dime to figure it out. So it's really, guys, it is not hard to figure out the markets. Me and Zach have done plenty of videos to just steer you with you and how to get that going. So you're good to go.
Cool. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay, man. I'll see you, man.